Hello and greetings. We are going to give you a fantasy baseball update, much overdue, that is for sure. This would be like a week 12 um, update from what I can tell. and just so you know, I've been out of the country for a while and took a very much needed break from everyday life. And now I'm back in it and just figured I would touch base not only to perhaps help some folks with their own thought processes, but to, I don't know, kind of verbally process my own um, thoughts and, get ready for kind of the second half, I guess. My experience has been that the All Star break in Major League Baseball is not exactly the halfway point of the fantasy season. It's a little bit past that. If we're in week 12, we've probably got about 10 weeks before the playoffs start. So um, let's dive in a little bit. I've got four leagues, and two are on Yahoo and two are on Fantrax. So we'll just do a little recap on all four. The most, I guess, what I would consider again a big money league for myself would be this one, Circus Maximus Cleanup Crew. Um, Probably not big money by big money standards, but big money as far as I'm concerned. It's the most money I put into a league in any sport, really. And I kind of got um, into this. I don't want to say by mistake, but for lack of, I didn't research it well before I got into it. And for what it's worth, I've had a blast with it. It's really been fun, and it's worth the money. I prefer to win rather than to lose, but that's the way it goes. So if you'll notice here, we're at 7-5. We are on a pretty good little run here, and that's probably going to jinx it, of course. We all know how that works. But if you'll notice here, let's just go to the schedule real quick. Um, we lost four of our first five. Luckily for us, we did beat in week 2 the Yellow Belts, who we are actually playing this week. And that is the team that is leading our division. So we need to beat them twice and get that um, tiebreaker advantage if that's the way that's going to work. But interestingly enough, man, some of these teams that we lost to in the early going, really we should have not have lost to, and from what I can tell. So lost four out of the first five, just beat Team Gerald. Lucky for us, and again, that was a weird first week where it was a little bit short um, days and starts and games. So that was a little bit of an outlier. But man, if we could have beat that Team Gerald week 1, man, that would have kind of set us up. We're still kind of in good shape, but man, we would have been in so much better shape. That's for sure. So anyway, we are 2-2 in the division, having beaten Team Gerald once and Yellow Belts once. Lost to Team Red, which is again kind of haunting us a little bit. Should not have lost. If they only scored 231 that week, we should have been able to beat them, I think. But anyway, four of the first five lost. But then, if you'll notice here, starting in week 6, we are 6-1. We lost to this Vicolawana team here that is pretty good. In fact, Kubasa and Vicolawana are probably the two best teams in this league. But look at this. We've been on a little three win streak here, and then we're now on a 3-win streak. And I think if we beat Yellow Belts this week, we're again pretty well set as far as a good run and a chance at a playoff spot. So I'm feeling much better about it than I was, that's for sure. But for me to have been out of the country and have pulled off these victories, I think is a really really good thing. I will say this one here, we only scored 222 and we still won, which is kind of a shocker. So that makes up for maybe some of these little outlier weeks back here in the early part of the season. It all maybe balances out. But let's go look at the team real quick. So for those that don't remember, my strategy in this was going into last year's draft, which was my first year in this team, in this league. It's a keeper league. So you get to pick 3 players and keep them at the round that you drafted them at, unless you're keeping them for a second year. then it's automatically like a first, second, or third round pick. So I immediately discounted keeping anyone at a first, second, or third round pick. I didn't want to do that. My keepers in this were Pete Crow Armstrong, um, Roman Anthony, who is on the injured list, and Michael Bush, who was a very, very late keeper. And again, he's just doing, he's filling the spot. He's doing pretty well for where I got him. So if I have any regrets on the keeper side halfway through the season here, I had Ivan Herrera last year, and I probably could have kept him at a lower spot than when I drafted him this year, which as the draft was going and I happened to notice, there he was. And had I known things were going to go that way, I would have just kept him, and I probably would not have kept Michael Bush. Let's just be honest. The call might have been, though, to have kept him instead of Roman Anthony, who has been a pretty big disappointment so far. But one of my strategies was going in last year, I was not aware of the fact that this is a hitter's fantasy league. It's almost like, it's not fantasy baseball, it's almost fantasy hitting. It's pretty much what it is. So I told myself I was going to fill my hitting spots first before I ever looked at a pitcher. And that so far has worked out pretty well. I am only like 7th in the league in scoring, which is a little disappointing because I feel like my team's pretty good. But for the most part, we just haven't like taken off, I guess would be the way to put it. So the guy who won the league last year had Cal Raleigh, who has had a pretty substandard season this year so far. So I had decided I was going to make sure I was pretty well set at catcher to at least hold the fort. It didn't have to compete with, what Cal Raleigh did last year, but it needed to do well. And so what I did was I drafted Drake Baldwin, who has turned out to be really, really good, except now he's on the injured list. And then I also backed that up with Ivan Herrera. And it's a good thing I did, because now Ivan's been kind of my only catcher for the last several weeks. And there have been times this season where I've had started one at catcher and started the other one at my utility. I have done that. So the catcher strategy worked out for me, and had I really thought through it, I probably would have kept Herrera instead of drafting him. But whatever works. If I decide to keep Herrera next year, I will not have to keep him at a first, second, or third. I can keep him at wherever I got him, which I think was around 10th or 11th round, something like that. So anyway, a couple of new faces here. Massey, I've been a little weirded out at second base with Jazz Chisholm. Occasionally he comes through. Occasionally he's sitting on the bench. I don't know what his deal is. So I did go find another second baseman just to kind of fill in whenever I need someone, which was today because there was no game for Jazz today. Bregman occasionally comes through, but again, kind of doesn't. So second and third, I feel like, is my two weak spots. Very stout at shortstop. I got Abrams, and I've got Adames, and either one of those on a given day can come through for you. Pete Crow Armstrong, just so you know, again, last year I was very happy with him. I do anticipate him cooling off. He's been pretty good, but man, in the middle and end of the season last year, he really cooled off, and so I'm anticipating a little PCA regression here. That's for sure. I think I mentioned on another video, Jordan Walker I picked up off the waiver wire. I could not believe he got cut when he did, and I have had him in my starting lineup pretty much every day. Tucker's been hit or miss, and Bush has been pretty stable as far as a backup first baseman, so can't argue there. I did go out and pick up Marte again after having drafted him. He got sent down, so I cut him. But I kept an eye out and knew he was coming back. And when he did, I picked him back up. And so I have occasionally put him in on my starting lineup at third base. And then you'll notice today there's a whole lot of teams off. So there's the bench. Imanaga has been a little hit or miss. Garrett Cole was one of my genius moves, really. After the draft, I went and looked, and he was still out there. And I set him on my, picked him up, put him on my IR. And now that he's been in, I've pretty much started him every time he's up in the rotation. Jeffrey Springs will be my first cut when I decide to get rid of somebody. I had a rain delay on a Sunday, and I still had a pitcher start left. So I just picked up whoever, and it happened to be him. So I'm not a real big Jeffrey Springs guy, and he did not do well. Gavin Williams has been kind of a revelation. Really happy to have gotten him. And for the most part, um, I've done okay. I even got rid of MI, and I might even be getting rid of Sasaki at some point. And they were probably two of my top pitching picks, if you will. So, Sabrowski, if he comes back, by the way, he's a relief pitcher that pretty much specializes in holds instead of saves. And he was nice before he went on the IL. He was nice to have. So we are 7-5. We are in fourth place. Really kind of wish I could have picked up one more victory somewhere else and been 8-4, but I will definitely take 7-5 and in playoff contention. Last year we started 6-1 and we ended 8-12. So we really tailed off at the end of the year. My hope this year was to start slow, which we did, a little slower than I would have wanted to, but then start heating up. And I do think we are definitely doing that. So if the playoffs were today, we would be in. We'd be playing a team that I think is beatable. And then we'd be set up to play the number one seed in the second round. So, if you win your division, I think you get your money back. There are some third place and some second place things. I feel like just put me somewhere where I can compete for some money back, and I'm going to be pretty happy with it. And hey, get hot at the right time. Maybe you're looking at winning a lot more. So that is the little rundown on my most important league. Let me give you a kind of a shorter rundown on some of the rest of these. Here's a team that is 6-6. We're third in the league in scoring, and I went ahead and looked. We are the absolute worst when it comes to points against. Everybody has their best week against us. So we're barely hanging in there on the playoff run here. And we've got one guy here, this Tuna Fishes team, that has destroyed me twice. He's undefeated. So, I really feel like this team's fine. I just need to make the playoffs, which I think I can. Being third in the league in points, I just got to make sure, we don't slip up here at the end and fail to set lineups or something weird like that. But for the most part, we're 1,000 points ahead of seventh place team, so I think we're probably going to be in the playoffs. And then again, just hope we get hot at the end. So not much to say on this one. This is a startup dynasty that's free, and we just drafted before the season started, and so. There's not a whole lot of history here as far as the way this is looking. Not a whole lot else to say on this one. Let's go to Fantrax and let's look at my oldest standing dynasty league. We are in our third year. Really do love this team. I made a lot of trades at the beginning of the season that may have been ill-advised, but I was trying to help out some other teams and stuff because we've had sort of a lopsided standings the first 2 years. We've had some really, really good teams at the top and some just absolute terrible teams at the bottom. So I tried to help out a little bit where I could. Interestingly enough, we're having to start Rutschman at catcher lately, which at the start of the season, he was like my third or fourth catcher. I drafted him to be my starter, but he just really kind of faded. But I've had all kinds of injury problems and just non-performance problems with catchers. So Baldwin, you can see, is on the IR. I had Ramirez here, who ends up back in the minors, and that leaves the door open for Rutschman, so he's there. A little note here about Cooper Pratt. He's supposed to make his major league debut this week. I'm pretty excited about that. So, we're just plugging along. If we go to the standings, I think we're in sixth place, so we're barely hanging in there at 12-10. We do play the league average every week, so you get 2 matchups per week. One of the teams I made some trades to is now in first place and has been killing it with some of the people that I traded to them. So congratulations to them. And we still have a couple of teams here that are not doing well, but I got to be honest, they're not the same teams. It looks like we've got some different teams that are struggling now. So anyway, needless to say, this one I'm feeling pretty good about. The 5 seed has won the championship both years. I was the 5 seed the first year and I won it. The second year, Rosalia here was the 5 seed and they won it. So right now it would be this team, which was in last place last year, would be the one maybe as the I don't know, the dark horse favorite, if that's a possible thing. Here is I think this is just a redraft league. I went and looked and I couldn't remember what it was, but me and my friend are the top 2 teams here, and I think I got into this one like last second or something before the season started, and I think it is just a redraft league. But we seem to be doing pretty well on this one. Only one IR spot, which is really frustrating on this team because I have had many, many injuries. You can kind of see a few of them here, the red flags. Teoscar Hernandez, if I can ever get him back, I'll put someone else in IR pretty easy. But I'm probably going to advocate for more IR spots next year. Only 5 starts per week in this league, which is the same as my big money league as well. I don't know that I love that. I think you should probably get more than that per week. But it's worked out pretty well because I generally have about 5 guys I want to start each week, and then I don't have to worry about it after that. So for the most part, again, this far through, I think we're probably gonna make the playoffs in all 4 of these leagues. I don't want to jinx it, but it looks like we're probably going to be competitive at the very least. So that is your Week 12 fantasy baseball update. And again, I'm just hoping if I have some thought processes that I talk out loud, that maybe that'll help out someone who's maybe in a similar league or similar situation. The best advice I can give at this time of year is just go schedule a time every morning and maybe even at lunch every day to just go in and check, put in active guys, even if they're not the best guys, put in guys that have a shot, and don't leave them blank, and don't leave them with guys who are not playing. Grind. That's the best advice I could give. So needless to say, we'll update you as often as we can. I was hoping for once a week, and I don't know if that's going to actually be realistic, but I will definitely be checking back in on this league before we get to the playoffs. That's for sure. At least the big money league and these baseball leagues before the playoffs start. All right. Y'all stay safe out there, and I'll see you again.